Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing another book haul. Oh, just, buying books. It's that time of year, I've been buying books, and I've just noticed that my battery light is flashing, so I'm going to get through these as quickly as I can. So the first one I've picked up is called Behind the Throne by K.B. Wagers. Now I've heard that this is a really good science fiction series, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into some sci-fi next year. I feel like I've not read enough this year. So this one sounds really good, and it comes highly recommended from some fellow booktubers. This is book one in the Indrinan War series, and it says Hale Bristol has made a name for herself in the galaxy for everything except what she was meant to do, which is rule the Indrinan Empire. When she is dragged back to her home planet to take her rightful place as the only remaining heir, she finds that trading her ship for a palace is the most dangerous move yet. So this sounds like it's going to be political and fun and probably quite adventurous. Next is a series that I heard about on Peruse Project's channel, and this sounds really good, and it's called The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I think this might be a middle grade fantasy. It seems to be quite a small fast read, but I know that Reagan from Peruse Project has really been loving these books and gobbles them down every time she reads them, so I thought I would get the first one and give it a go. It's about a young boy, he's a thief, he's ended up in the king's prison, and then all of a sudden it turns out that the king needs something stolen, they need his talents, and so they enlist him on a job. Sounds like it's going to be really fun and fast paced, and it comes highly recommended. The next one was one I believe that was sent to me, I think from Brittany from Under the Radar Books as our final Shelf Slam book. I think, and that is Being Miss Nobody by Tasmin Winter. I love the look of the cover on this, and the book sounds really good and perfect for me. I believe this is about a young girl. She's in secondary school, she is a mute, and she gets picked on, and she decides to start a blog, and I'm assuming that nobody knows it's her on the blog, and she uses this as a way of coping and a bit of a coping mechanism. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this sort of mixture of technology and mental health goes together. Next is continuation of a series that I've been loving, and that is Father Christmas and Me by Matt Haig. I've read all of the other ones in this series and really enjoyed them, so I couldn't not pick up the newest one. What I love about these books is they are really Christmassy and full of really good illustrations, and they're really fun and quirky, so I can't wait to get stuck into this one. Next up is a book called Gretel and the Dark by Eliza Granville. I want to say that I saw this on Joss as Scribbles Reads channel. I think it was her that recommended it, and I really just liked the sound of the story. This is a book that is going to be a bit of an exception to a rule of mine. I generally don't like to read books that are set around the Second World War, but this one just sounds like it's more of a human story and less about the war, if that makes any sense. That probably doesn't make sense. It just appealed to me. It's set in 1899 in Vienna, and we have a woman discovered, thin, head shaved, who claims to have no name and not even human. And then you have the 1940s Germany. We meet a girl who is working in an infirmary with the animal people, and when she's alone she loses herself in the stories of Hansel and Gretel, the Pied Piper and others. And then it's a look into sort of dark fairy tales, the truth behind some fairy tales. I've heard it's very good, so I'm looking forward to this one. This is a book that I was sent by the publisher, so thank you very much to them. It doesn't come out till April 2018. It's called I Stop Somewhere by T.E. Carter. This is the look of the proof copy. The back says, Ellie Fraser has never wanted to be popular, she just wants to blend in, to be accepted. But when Caleb Breward tells her she's beautiful and makes her believe it. Ellie loves Caleb, but sometimes she's not sure she likes him. The possessive way he touches her, his harsh tone, how he ignores her 1 minute and can't get enough the next, and the one black night she discovers the monster her boyfriend really is. Ellie wasn't the first girl Caleb raped, but she was the first he murdered. Now trapped, she witnesses him shatter the lives of other girls. Powerless and alone, Ellie tries to keep hold of happier memories, always waiting, hoping that someone will find her. I think this is going to be a real page turner and gives me feelings of The Lovely Bones, in that sort of vibe where we've got someone, our young narrator, talking from sort of beyond the grave. I think this is going to be a really good one for 2018, so I can't wait to get stuck in. There's more. There's more. The next one I picked up is called The Maid's Room by Fiona Mitchell. I picked this up because of the blurb and I just thought it sounded really interesting. I believe this has been tipped as a book that you would like if you enjoyed The Help. It's talking about maids in Singapore who work for expats, and there is two main characters in this. One is working really hard to send money back to her children in the Philippines, and the other steps outside of what she is meant to be doing as a maid to help another maid out, and the repercussions of this, I believe, are looked at in this book. I just think it sounds brilliant and I really liked The Help, so I'm hoping that it will give me those feelings. Next is a book that I was gifted by the lovely Janet for the final Shelf Slam book, and that is Penance by Kane Minato. Again, I think I heard about this on Joss from Scribbles Reads channel. There was quite a few recently she talked about and I was like, yes please, and so I picked up this one. So this says, when a group of young girls are approached by a stranger, they cannot know that the encounter will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Hours later, one of them is dead. The surviving girls alone can identify the killer, but not one of them remembers his face. Driven mad by grief, the victim's mother demands the girls find the murderer or else atone for their crimes. If they do neither, she will have her revenge. She will make them pay. So this just sounds really good. Next up is What to Say Next by Julie Boxham. I love the front of this book. This is a book that looks at life and death, and also I believe it's got an autistic main character, and it's looking at a relationship between that character and another girl his own age, and I just think it sounds really interesting, and these books have been appealing to me recently, which have characters that, or some main characters whose point of view we look at, who are on the autistic spectrum. The next books are ones I picked up in a second-hand bookshop in London. It was my favourite. I went there with Caitlin from Kitty G. I picked up more books than I should, as always, and the first one was The 7 Days of Us by Francesca Hornack. Now, I've heard lots about this, but this is just a beautiful naked hardback. This is the story of a family coming together for Christmas, and one of them, I think it's the eldest daughter, has been abroad helping with some sort of epidemic, and when she gets back she is under quarantine, which means that the rest of the family end up under quarantine, and we're looking at what happens when people in their family are all trapped together for 7 days under quarantine, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of fights and home truths coming out. So this one sounds really good, and definitely one I'm going to try and read over the Christmas period. The next one I picked up, I just couldn't resist. It's called Girl in Snow, and it's by Danya Kukafka. Apologies if I've said that incorrectly. This is the story of a girl in a small town who is turned up murdered. I think we're going to be looking at many points of view, how this murder has affected people, what's happened. I'm sure we're going to unravel the mysteries behind this murder, and it's looking at love and obsession. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this when I fancy something a bit darker. Next is Spare and Found Parts. This is, I think, a science fiction story. It's about set in a time where there's an epidemic, and survivors of this epidemic are all missing parts of their body, and there's a young girl. She's always been an outsider. Her father is a famous scientist who creates biomechanical limbs, and she is the only one with her machinery on the inside, her heart. So says since the childhood operation she has ticked like a clock, like a bomb. As her community rebuilds, everyone is expected to contribute to the society's good, but how can she live up to her father's ideas? When she finds a lost mannequin hand while salvaging on the beach, she has inspiration. She can build her own companion in a world that fears advanced technology. So she gets deeper into the plan, she learns more about the city and her father, and I'm sure it's and all sorts unravelling. Just a few more. Next is one that I got in Forbidden Planet. This is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I'm sure I've heard lots about this. I just thought it sounded brilliant. I think there's a Goblin King, there's music, It's fantasy. I'm not sure if it's based on any sort of original story or myth or legend, but everyone has blurbed this as Labyrinth by way of Angela Carter, which I think sounds perfect. I love Labyrinth. Right, the final one is one that I've heard of a lot recently, and it's Read the Reader, and it's book 1 of The Sea of Ink and Gold by Tracy Chee. I love the covers of this. The second one has just come out, so I wanted to read the first one to see what I think. This is a book which is set in a world, I think, it says, yeah, this is a book, you are the reader, look closer, there's magic here. In Sephia's world, reading is unheard of, but everything changes when she finds the book. It is the one thing that can save her, it's the one thing that can destroy her. So sounds ominous, but a page turner. So many books, so little time. So pleased that I won't be buying for a little while because, boy, there's plenty to be getting through here. I feel a bit overwhelmed actually at where to start, but there's so many good ones and I really enjoyed my shopping trips, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much. Anyway, let me know if you've read any of these, where should I start, what your thoughts are. As always, let's talk in the comments below. Bye for now, BookTube.